Welcome to hashtag sports, everybody. If you are seeing this, then obviously you kind of get the idea as to what happened. Casual Paul. I work from home, so there are a lot of times I can jump on with you animals. And regretfully, Sean McDermott just released at his press conference at One Bills Drive that Von Miller is officially done for the season. Von has torn his ACL. And that is that. Thanksgiving it takes another casualty, man. Vaughn officially done for the remainder of the season. As most of you know, through the Trey White and Odell Beckham saga, that's this season, and that is a large chunk of next season. Whenever you add a player like Vaughn, right, at his age, and I say at his age as that's not a knock, right, but you paid Vaughn a lot of money, and he is an aging player, and you thought through snap count you could keep him healthy. That this is just not a battle you could ever win or predict, and this is what happens. Yeah, let's not play on Thanksgiving anymore, right? It's not like Buffalo isn't without resources at the defensive end position, right? This is obviously not something you want because Vaughn is a huge locker room leader, on the field, off the field. This is a tough one to swallow, especially post-trade deadline, because Buffalo can't really do anything to address the position now besides just kind of look through waivers and look at practice squads. You got to get Rousseau healthy. Basham has been playing a little bit more. Lawson has been playing a little bit more, but Vaughn was dynamic. And this is a massive, 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 massive loss for Buffalo. Vaughn done for the season in most, or at least the beginning, large part of the beginning of next season, with that torn ACL. Regrettably, these are the things that happen when you make large free agent investments. Sometimes you get you get a player who's had a lot of tread taken off the tires, but ACLs can come up and snag anybody at any time. This is terrible news. This is absolutely the pits. Vaughn was saying, "Oh nope, couple days. I'll be there. I'll be in. I'll be there." Obviously, that was very much wishful thinking. I think this team can recover from this. Okay. This is a big step forward for a young player like Rousseau, Basham, Shaq Lawson. You've retained Shaq Lawson for a reason. AJ Epineza, you're going to need Epineza to contribute. But look at what you have there, right? I just named guys who were all first and second round picks, all of them, right? Basham, Rousseau, Epineza, Lawson. So it's not like you're pulling guys off the scrap heap in order to contribute at that defensive end position. I think the difference is we all saw the impact that Vaughn had on opposing offenses. And when you're looking at circling the calendar for when the Super Bowl is played in Arizona, and that's the game that you're looking at, losing a player like Von Miller is absolutely, absolutely crushed. But Dan is absolutely right. What's up, Dan? Dan is absolutely right. Listen, you'll be without Trey. You've been without Trey all season. You'll be without Vaughn for the rest of the season. It is not the end of the world. The pass rush has been fine, right? The one thing I will say is that without Vaughn, right, you're going to see the secondary have a little bit more pressure put on them than they had in earlier weeks. But Vaughn wasn't playing 100% of snaps. So again, it's not like you're losing 100% snap contributor. You're not losing Milano. You're not losing Edmonds. Like, this team already had to absorb the loss of Hyde and partial, the partial loss of Poyer through a large chunk of the season so far. So this team can definitely handle it. But those are huge shoes to fill. And with a contract like Vaughn's, you do have to say, okay, Bean took a shot, right? What's this contract look like post-injury? Not something that you can even do anything about this year, right? You're not even looking at that this season. Not a concern at all. But it does make what you do with the rest of your roster a little bit more of a question, right? what can Buffalo really do about the defensive end position at this point? There's not much to do. Again, you can continue to look at practice squads for other teams. You continue to look at waivers as players get dropped. You could, again, see what you have in the cupboards, but I don't think your defensive ends have been playing poorly. Actually, I think the defensive line itself has been playing really, really well. The pressure that they're getting up the middle between Oliver, Settle, and Jordan Phillips is more than enough to allow you to have a little bit of flexibility with who's playing on those outside defensive end roles. Obviously, none of them have the eyes and the mind of Von Miller. Von is a different animal. He processes the game at an incredible pace. He's quick, he's smart, and you don't have that savvy anymore, right? And I think that's sort of what the difference was, is that savvy. Because Vaughn could go out there and do things that you hope to see develop out of Rousseau and that you hope to see develop out of Basham, and you hope to see flashes of with Epinesa. But that player's still there. Just because Vaughn is going to go through ACL repair, which he had done yesterday, ACL repair. The fact of the matter is that this is still a guy who has contributed to those young players' careers, and I'm sure will continue to contribute to those young players' careers, even while in the mode that he is in. Now, mind you, I don't want Vaughn going anywhere right now. But that doesn't mean he won't be contributing to the team virtually in meetings. I'm sure this is a very team guy. So I would be shocked to know that Vaughn is not contributing to the team in some form or fashion during recovery. Again, Chuck, hope he can stay on the sideline. Get him off the side. The man just had his knee taken apart and put back together. They don't put him on the sidelines. We see cameramen get destroyed on the. Don't put Vaughn on the sideline. You can get a booth. Wheel him up there. Put him in a booth. Where's there a ramp? That's where he should be. Put him where the good snacks are. We still expect Vaughn to contribute when it comes to looking at film. That's something he can contribute to. And again, trying to be there to help answer questions and to be motivational for these young players. But this is what you do, right? When you have an older player that unfortunately no longer contributes, you have to hope that that older player left enough of an impression or relationship with those younger players to make a difference. And Vaughn had a very impactful role on this team for 14 weeks. And now it's just about how much did Rousseau pick up? How much did Basham pick up? And so far, even when Vaughn's not been on the field, they've still been okay. Again, those defensive tackles, man, really make the job of the defensive ends a lot easier. The pressure that the Bills have been able to generate from up the middle has been outstanding. Obviously, we want to see Jordan Phillips healthy, right? He obviously he injured his shoulder just straight laying out, trying to tiptoe Mac Jones. That's a big man falling in Jordan Phillips. But this is why you went out and got a bunch of veteran help across the defensive tackle position, because you did have young defensive ends, and this is what you were hoping for. That's why you put the investments in Oliver. Why you've obviously Oliver's on that first round contract, but you've got an Oliver now that's a bunch of seasons deep. He's now a veteran. You invested in Tim Settle. You invested at least partially in Jordan Phillips. You've invested a lot of resources in that defensive tackle position, primarily because your defensive ends are so young, right? This is okay, though. You can make it past this. If you're Buffalo, this is not a nail in the coffin. It's just unfortunately a very large setback from your expectations. I think we all were looking forward to seeing Von Miller absolutely go ham when it came to the playoffs, right? In God forbid they have to play a wild card game, in an AFC championship game or a divisional game. This is what you paid Von Miller for, was to get you there and to dominate in those games. It's not going to happen now. That's okay. It's okay. You're going to miss him. You can't not miss Von Miller. But this team has shown an incredible aptitude to find talent and find depth in a variety of places. And they are far from depleted at defensive end position. Again, the 4 players that are going to be playing defensive end primarily for you are all first and second round players. These are players with the pedigree to survive and players who aren't rookies. Rousseau is not a rookie. Basham is not a rookie. Epinesa is not a rookie. Lawson is not a rookie. These are guys who have some NFL experience under their belt, and they're better suited now than they were last year. And that's fine. I will take even those 4 defensive ends in 2022 over the defensive position or defensive end issue that we had in 2021. Absolutely, without a doubt. And if I'm Buffalo, I am just begging Houston to release Jerry Hughes. I am begging Houston to release Jerry Hughes because Jerry Hughes would have to go on waivers. And I don't know many teams that are going to touch him. Yes, Buffalo is at the bottom of the waiver priority. So let's talk about that real quick. Let's say the Houston Texans do release Jerry Hughes, just as an example, right? If they were to release Jerry Hughes, he goes on waivers. Now, that means any team can put a claim in and have to take him at his current roster, at his current salary, and he would have to be added to their active roster. Okay, Buffalo's at the bottom of that priority list, right? Because it's the same thing that happened to San Francisco. Jimmy G got lost for the season. Baker Mayfield just by happenstance gets put on waivers. The Carolina Panthers say, you know what, we're going to cut Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield's now a Ram because Baker Mayfield had to go through waivers. He gets no choice as to where he goes. He goes by whichever team claims him, and there's an order to that. Buffalo's at the bottom of that pecking order. So getting a player through waivers is a real tall order. There's going to be a lot of teams that want to block Buffalo from that because it's pretty obvious at this point. I saw Mike Love's name come up. Oh boy, Mike Love. He's still around. Hey, Mike Love is still around. Actually, the players were just talking about him, saying that he is king of the selfies. That's true. Apparently, he's king of the selfies. Hey, Sean, of course, this show is brought to you by Mr. Rogers Homes. Thank you so much, Sean. Guys, they're going to be fine here, okay? It is a large drop-off. I agree. Searching for oldies, I agree. It is a large drop-off from Von Miller to anybody else. But you put Von Miller on just about any team in the NFL, and it's a huge drop-off between Von Miller and everybody else. That's why you paid him the money that you paid him. That's why he's the player that he is. There's not another one. You're not getting anybody that's equal to Von. The only thing you could do is put a Band-Aid over a bullet hole here. But it's not like that bullet hole is going to kill you. You're going to be okay. You've invested in this position. Yes, they're all young, but you've invested in this position with the understanding that at some point, Von wasn't going to be here anymore. I think that time came a little sooner than everybody was thinking, but that's football. And this team, if anything, seems to always find a way to overcome major injuries. If you told me at the beginning of the season you lost Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Edmonds for a handful of games, you lose Vaughn, you don't have Trey, Elam is being a healthy scratch in certain games, you're going to be starting Christian Benford a vast majority of games he's healthy, I would tell you, wow, I hope you won 50% of your games, right? Because that sounds like a nail in the coffin to any team to lose 6 starters. But here is Buffalo, number 1 seed in the AFC, still plugging along. It's going to be fine. At this point, is Phillips expected to play Sunday? I've not heard he is. But again, Sunday's a long ways away, especially since they're not playing on Sunday. They are playing Saturday this week, if I am remembering correctly. Or was that the Miami game that got flexed? The Miami game got flexed. Let me look up real quick. I don't think Jordan Phillips is cleared to. I don't think he's been cleared real quick. I'll just check. Hold on. Buffalo Bills injury report. So Buffalo Bills standing injury report. Of course, this is from buffalobills.com. They do not have their injury report posted as of yet. They're not going to have them posted at least for another couple hours post-practice. So we're not really sure. I didn't hear the report on Jordan Phillips, but it didn't look like he was going to be ready to play just yet. But again, keep an eye on that through the rest of the week. It is only Wednesday. So you got a little bit of time there. Hey, listen, this is the NFL, man. This is the NFL. Dallas asked, do I think this does anything for the OBJ signing? Listen, OBJ is still Dallas says he's not physically able to contribute. I don't think Buffalo is going to give up the roster spot for a player that can't contribute right now. So, I mean, you sign him, you got to cut somebody, you can put him on IR. He's there for 4 weeks, and then you got to bring somebody back. I don't really know if you're going to do that. Plus, the money that he wants is probably not again, I still just don't believe that's a possibility right now. So aside from that, we will see. We'll see. Dirty Randy brings up a great point. Didn't Buffalo lead the league in quarterback pressures last year without Vaughn? That's actually interesting. So Leslie Frazier has talked about the pressure packages that Buffalo has been putting in, and those pressure packages, Buffalo blitzed more last year than they had in previous seasons, and you're seeing that still, right, where Buffalo is bringing 5-man pressures. You're actually seeing Tremaine blitz a little bit more. You're seeing Milano blitz a little bit more, but you're doing that because of the secondary, right? Your secondary has been a traveling carnival of whoever can walk that week. So you have to bring pressure in that instance, right? You have to bring pressure because you gotta find a way to cover up that secondary a little bit. Buffalo is going to continue to bring pressure. And this is the staple of what you're going to see this year from this defense. They're going to continue to bring pressure. It's okay. We did it. We're fine. Everything's going to be fine. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Joshua. Yeah. And we still couldn't sack. That is also, unfortunately, a fact. But sometimes it's not about necessarily getting those tackles for loss. While I agree they can change a possession, right? It's the constant pressure that this defense has been depending on for interceptions, right? That a sack is not a pick, and I think that's kind of going to be the dynamic shift that you see. You're probably going to be bringing down the quarterback a little bit less, but I think the onus is still going to be, hey, let's make some quarterbacks uncomfortable. And again, with the schedule that you have coming up, you might not really notice the loss of Vaughn right away. You got the Jets game coming up. Buffalo ended Mike White as a starter in 2021, so they intercepted him 4 times. That was the last game he started until just a few weeks ago. Again, I expect to see Buffalo continue to try and generate turnovers through the air. And again, that's going to have to be at, they're probably going to bring the quarterback down a little bit less. And again, it's all about the game of football. It's a moving target. Hey guys, Paul from #. I'm sorry to bring you lunch news that makes you want to cry. Listen, it'll be all right. They'll be okay. This team has never this season struggled to figure it out at some point. I'm pretty confident that we're going to be just fine. Paul from #. Have a good one, everybody. Go Bills.
Hello, fellow Bills fans. Sean Rogers, realtor and lead of the Mr. Rogers Homes team. Did you know that real estate is one of the best ways to build wealth, and right now is one of the best times to own an investment property in Arizona? Please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions so we can take the next step to your financial freedom here in the Valley of the Sun, utilizing real estate. As always, God bless America and go Buffalo!